Hello, my dear friends. I'm Samantha, and this is the Mooncast. I'm feeling much better, but I still have a lot of healing to do, so I'm going to try my best to get through this Mooncast today. For those of you that don't know, my whole household was essentially infected with COVID, and we are all doing well. We've all pretty much gotten past the point of where we're actively ill, but for someone who loves nature, I am also in many ways very allergic to it, so I have to fight with that compoundedness of having been sick and allergies. So, like I said, I'm going to do my best. I was going to talk about unverified personal gnosis today, but I decided that I would save that for maybe next week. I'd like to just do or put a little more thought into that. But there is something that I've been thinking about lately that I wanted to share with you. And that is the fact that witchcraft has a lot to do with how you think. It is very much reliant on your perspective in life. It's dependent on your mental and emotional health. Now, I saw and have seen some things on social media. I'll admit there are some people that I follow simply so that I can have my thoughts tested or give me something to consider that maybe I wouldn't consider otherwise. And I do follow this one account, and I'm not going to name names, but it is a witch who posts a lot of things about like hexing exes and revenge and so on and so forth. And it's a younger person, not that that matters, but they do seem quite young and maybe don't have the life experience or support to be able to have a healthy outlook on life. And I feel nothing but compassion for this person, but it prompted in me the idea that maybe I needed to talk a little bit about how perception can affect our own crafts. The first thing that we have to consider is that we all have free will, and that can be a very tricky topic. I'm not going to go into it, but I've never been comfortable imposing my will onto others. Because, and we'll circle back to this later, and you'll see that we all have very different, unique stories, that being our lives and how we've lived them and what we've been through, our successes and our failures. And it's not up to us, of course, to judge another person. We don't know their life. We have not walked in their shoes. So the first thing that I do is I take the responsibility upon myself to protect my space. This is kind of like heading possible harm off before it happens. I don't allow people in my life, or at least closely in my life, that I cannot, for lack of better words, jive with. I don't allow people in my life that do things to actively harm me. And that's to say the least. I prefer to keep people, my very close circle, as a group of people that we can have kind of a symbiotic relationship with, and we can support one another. And even if we have disagreements, that's okay, because we're always seeking to understand one another. And that can be really hard for a lot of people, because maybe they don't have the support to make those choices of what kind of people to have in their life. Maybe they don't know that they deserve to have good, supportive folk in their life. Maybe they're coming from a place where that was not offered throughout their life. Maybe it was expected to endure less than nourishing behaviors from other people. And so this person, obviously, based on what they've explained online, has been in a situation where they were forced to be around people that were not healthy for them. And that is incredibly sad. And I have nothing but compassion for this person. But the thing is that now, as they are seeming to be older, they are spending a lot of energy on hexing these people who harm them and retaliating and that kind of thing. And I can fully understand why someone would want to do that. It's very enticing. It feels like justice when there is no justice. But it is also taking energy from this person. It's taking their focus that could better be spent on healing and cultivating better relationships. Now, one thing that I want you to know is that I am not a young person, at least by social media standards. In many ways, I feel like an old lady every day. I still feel quite young, but ultimately I feel like an old lady. And I have spent many years cultivating confidence and good relationships where we can elevate one another. And witchcraft for me is a way to elevate myself as opposed to break others down. And like I said, there's no judgment to anyone who wants to or feels the need to do that. Again, you are on your path. I can't judge you for it. But I ask you to consider your motivations and why you might be feeling like you have to do those things, especially in order to get justice. And that happens very often in our society, and I completely understand. When you're doing spells to enact justice on another person, you're taking time to do that instead of perhaps doing a spell to cultivate more self-love, to cultivate more abundance, more peace, more tranquility, whatever it is that you need to be cultivating. And that's not to also say that witchcraft is, as the old term goes, fluffy bunny or love and light all the time. But if you really want to get something spectacular out of your craft, my personal suggestion is to use it to elevate yourself and others should they ask. Because we have enough tearing us down. Now, I said that I would come back to the idea that we all have separate individual stories that are in our lives. And when it comes to people's actions, most people don't do things because they are inherently evil. Most people, when they do things that are harmful, are because they themselves have been harmed. And I'll warn you that looking at people this way can be kind of depressing, because when you look at all the people that have unhealthy behaviors or harm other people, and you realize that they do those things because they are in pain, you realize that there's a lot of people out there that have been hurt, and that there is a lot of hurt and pain in the world itself. And it's not an excuse. It doesn't excuse their behavior. But hopefully, in some way, it can lend understanding as to why some people are the way they are. It can help you to find compassion and hope for that person, to find healing. Because when we can all heal, and we can all live in a world where our pain is addressed, and maybe even not inflicted on us in the first place, I'd like to think that we could build a very beautiful world together. So that's essentially what I mean when I say that witchcraft is very much a matter of perception. It's how you perceive things in your life, in the world, in the cosmos, and so on. And when we have an unhealthy perspective, when we have mental and emotional health challenges, it can make our craft almost work against us. So that is about all I have to say for today. A quick update is I've decided to hold off on the membership program. That's just a lot of extra work that I don't think I'm quite ready for, but I'm considering some other fun ways to bring some content to you all. As always, for now, if you want to help support the show, you can make a donation on buymeacoffee.com. The link will be in the description. And I hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you soon.